I thought I would check into this. This is OTOY. We're checking in on this. Subscribe to if you haven't. 41.1K subscribers. So 60 videos. And you know, this is the one where you saw Leonard Nimoy, CGI Leonard Nimoy in like PlayStation 7 graphics. Very good stuff. They're trying to create a whole archive. So OTOY, the Gene Roddenberry archive. I I assume safely that this is for future movies, TV shows. There's a little upset that we're going to talk about at the very end of this, but we're going to go ahead and look very quickly through these. There'll be copyright claims if I play the whole thing through, so I'll jump in here, but this is the most notable one right here. Oh, this is the most notable. Just when we thought they were doing Enterprise.
I've got a hot date with a sexy merman and
Ah, look at that. Look at that. That is not the set.
And it proved that Gene's vision of the future was bigger and richer and more
And that's
dramatic
Armin
than
Shimmerman.
anyone had thought. Deep
And that's
Space
not the
Nine,
model. That is a CGI model.
a fashion icon.
Yeah, this is really neat.
Space
So
Station Deep Space Nine was built
let me
by
pause this.
Cardassian.
So this was the first real show that emerged after Gene had passed away. I remember my dad watched the pilot. I watched the pilot. And I remember that long opening crawl that was very similar to like Star Wars. And it had a very kind of, it was like a faded old story like a long time ago in that galaxy far, far away, but never mind that. Star Trek Deep Space Nine was this whole almost gothic, dark version of what we were used to. Because up until this point, we had Star Trek and Next Generation, Kirk and Picard, and Generations was on its way, a new generation of movies, and we had reruns of Star Trek and Next Generation, but Deep Space Nine, you had the origins of Cisco and Jake, because, and I said this before, like that final episode was a mishap. You had Ben Sisko, you had Jake Sisko, you had Cardassians had relinquished control, and Ben took over. It was under Federation control, and it was relocated to a wormhole, as Armin Shimmerman points out. And look at this. This is all CGI, all of this. So yeah, it was an amazing 6 seasons. I didn't see the last episode until many years later.
Star Trek feature film.
These are all the different models they
He
had.
and his team undertook the challenge to expand Star
Look at this
Trek's
stuff
visual
here.
vocabulary by devising a whole new design.
Yeah, so they're trying to come up with
They came
DS9.
up with
I like
dozens
that,
of
but what the hell
ideas
is,
for
where
the
direction does it
space
go?
station, settling on a concept
So they kinda came up with
inspired
something
by an
simple.
oil drilling platform.
Ah, look at this.
Many alien
Yeah, so
cultures
this is a 1-to-1 scale.
Below was the promenade's lower level. Young
Look how
Kate
beautiful this
Sisko and his
is.
friend Nog spent many an hour hanging out.
Yeah, look at this. Look how great this is.
Oh, and here's a glimpse of the most important part of the promenade. We'll talk
Well,
about that later.
oh yeah, no, we can't get there yet.
The promenade.
Now here comes a
as
part
envisioned by the art
that I have to have
was
commentary
far
for.
bigger than any studio soundstage. So, a large scenic painting was positioned at each end, visually extending the set beyond the physical limits of the soundstage.
Now, that is true. Now, what I'm hoping for here is that this is not the final version of Deep Space Nine. Now, this is the final version as far as the limitations of the set. But if you wanted to create a perfect scale DS9, you would have to finish the rest of the space station and figure out exactly where everything goes. And I'm hoping that they're trying to do this. So, I mean, you had to create the illusion. I remember seeing a Klingon bridge on Star Trek Discovery that kind of reminded me of Deep Space Nine, like the double promenade-looking bridge. Does anybody know what I'm talking about? Those ugly blue and the blue copper-looking Klingons. It was in the first season of Discovery. Anyway, you go through the manual, okay? You go through the engineering guide for DS9. You look at the schematics. Because they're going to bring this up in a moment. So to be able to finish this so that this is not a painting. So there should be 2 versions. One is this one, And then one would be a real life version. If DS9 were real, obviously this would not exist. You would see a finished virtual station. Ah, look at that.
Level of the promenade
Spiral
bustled
staircase.
with businesses and visitors from a wing set. It was first seen as a security holding area, but it could be modified to become other locations on the promenade.
Here's the other
Later
point, too.
Became Garrick's tailor shop, a geological assay office, and Keiko's schoolroom. When visiting Spaceship,
Now, the other thing, too, is that when they're creating the space station, if they're going to create it for real, those things that he just said have to be in separate locations on the space station. Meaning that were they all into like Keiko's school and Garrick's tailor shop, are they supposed to be in different spots, or did it become the tailor shop? My guess is, because I do remember Keiko had her school up to the very end of the show, that it's in a different place. So you're trying to give the illusion that we're in a different place on the space station. So it's up to, I guess it's between Paramount, the people who are keeping canon, keeping track, and then trying to make sure that those places are in a specific spot. So when and if we ever return to DS9, whether it's for a KFC commercial or some other thing, that you could go to that place virtually within this virtual station. You go, okay, want to go to Keiko's school? Okay, it's right over here. Oh, this tailor shop over there. The geological survey area over there. The detention area over there. You know, it's in these exact spots. So it leaves less room for imagination, but at least you'll have it in a specific place. All right, I'm going to keep going.
docked at Deep Space Nine.
There you go. That's where
Travelers
you
often
get to the
entered
airlock.
The station through this area. Were provided
That's-
at the
there's
station's
Bashir.
infirmary by Dr. Julian Bashir, who took care of all
There's the,
patients with
yeah.
Cardassian. Yet another layer of alien strangeness. The temple's entrance was part of the promenade set. Whenever we saw the actual temple interior, it was a separate set built on a
So this is something they
different
have to
soundstage.
include in the
This
virtual
promenade
reality.
showed a variety
They have to
of
make that
strange
all
wares.
one set.
But if you look really closely at the alien merchandise, a lot of it was found objects provided by our ingenious set decorator, Laura Richards. He thought that some stores might overcome this by using pictorial signage.
Oh, yeah,
Ricardo
universal
designed
signs
this
for
a
different
restaurant
planets,
that
different people.
apparently served some type of alien sushi. Odo.
Odo's
the
quarters.
station's chief of security. You might recognize alien versions
Oh, this
of
is
some
for
of our
wanted
co-workers
posters.
on the show's production dining restaurant called the Replimat.
Oh, yeah, the
Exotic
replicator.
delicacies
They're putting
on the
everything
menu
in here.
boards. I never Dacian Taylor, who always insisted that he wasn't a spy.
Huh.
I certainly believed him.
Nah.
In case you were looking for a particular...
Oh, yeah, there's the
business
Rosetta
on the
Stone in the
promenade,
center.
You might consult Ferengi, Bajorn, and Cardassian.
Oh, look at
However,
that.
if you were to
It's
look
like a directory to a
very
mall.
closely, you might see listings for some businesses that were never actually seen on the show.
Oh, there's Keiko O'Brien's schoolroom.
Personally, I always wanted to
Resupply.
hang out at Poncho's
Quark
Happy
Spa.
Bottom Riding Club. Right stuff.
Jupiter
If all
Mining
your shopping
Corporation.
and dining at the ATM, which offered
This is the
cash
first time
advances
I've learned that they actually have an
interstellar
ATM in a
currencies,
space station
all
of Deep
on
Space
surrender
Nine.
rates. These most exotic locales, some of which look
When you're not,
suspiciously
when we're not
like
zapping at
that from
Cardassians.
earlier
Oh,
Star
look at
Trek
that.
episodes.
Oh, yeah, look at that.
I guess I'm not the.
Bar, the heart of the promenade.
Yeah.
And indeed, the Mark's Bar. Here, travelers from a
As seen
myriad of
on
different
the
worlds
Cerritos,
were welcome.
right?
They all enjoyed
Star Trek Lower
the
Decks.
hospitality of one of the galaxy's most renowned hosts, my good friend and accomplished entrepreneur, Quark. You
This is
can
all.
get
This is all on a
at
computer.
Quark's serving games of skill and chance, such as Tango, and of course, Dabo, featuring some of the most of Quarks, famous throughout the galaxy.
Ah, the holodeck.
To the exotic.
We see the exact
You
shape
could
and size of the
experience the
holodeck.
historical battle of the Alamo,
I don't know if we ever
or
saw the
adventures of
holodeck
a 1960s
on,
British Secret
you know,
Service
not
agent,
turned on,
or a
right?
rendezvous with the deal of money went into bringing Deep Space Nine to the screen. But the critical question:
Oh, yeah, there you go. Look at
would the
that.
television audience accept this deliberate, dramatic departure from Star?
And here we are. We're back on the Enterprise D. Enterprise Delta. And this is, I guess if Picard wants KFC, he can go on the space shuttle. The Galileo, to be exact. But it doesn't look like the Galileo, does it? It looks like it's much bigger. Or maybe he could send his future Picard back out. Remember they shot future Picard? Oh yeah, this is from The Cage. That was from 2 years ago. We know that's Captain Kirk's quarters, right? Or is that Archer's quarters after he stole the Defiant? Little things you see in there. Oh no, it's the Enterprise. Sorry, it is the Enterprise. Ha ha ha! Could have been the Defiant. You never know. I just take a guess at these things. What is that? That's a real life place. No, we don't need that. That must be Earth. So we're moving about. Yeah, I'm not sure which season this is from. I'm assuming the first or second season. It's not the Enterprise unless you hear that hum. Scotty, what are we doing here? Oh shit. We gotta go and apologize for offending a group of people. Alright. If I'm not back in 2 minutes, you know, it's, I have diplomatic immunity. I have interplanetary immunity. Yeah, here's DS9. Really good. What is that pop and crackle there? Old footage. Yeah, this is the 90s. What is that crackle and hum? I don't remember that on the set. Yeah, this is on Apple Vision. Yeah, I hope they really complete the whole thing, and make, you know, when you're going in every deck on the Enterprise and every deck on the space station. That's what I'm hoping for, but I don't know. I don't know if they're going to go that far. I'm assuming that's what their goal is, to make everything that you didn't see, but it's part of that. It's part of that lore, right? Not data lore, but. We can't go in there. We cannot go into the Bajoran Temple. Damn it. But we should be able to. We should be able to. What is that one? Oh, God, this one. Oh, guess where we're at, everyone? Yes, Cerritos. And I heard that the show's future is in jeopardy. I'd rather see Prodigy than fucking Lower Decks. We don't need this. But there it is. There's the Cerritos. Yes, Cerritos. So you can go through all these. I think there's a website if you don't have Apple. I would like to try that. Maybe I'll do that at a later point. There is, of course, the Delta Enterprise. Amazing stuff. Are we where we think we are? That's the engineering room. Yep. Just jump over. Fall into the chasm there. Yeah, a lot of detail to the Delta bridge. Oh, there we go. The little conference room. This is where Geordi and Worf switch places. It's like, wait a minute. Am I in the right universe? Oh, this one. Yeah. Oh, are we going in there? Are we going in the wrecked ship? No, that's the E. E. I'm guessing the damaged saucer is not ready yet. Not ready. Back to the Delta. And is that a life-size model? It's it looks like a film viewing model here, but it is all digital. It is not there in the real world. AR reality, man. Look at that. So that's the Delta. And two more things here. They have a website so that if you don't have an Apple device. So this is the Star Trek Origin movie. Do we need another fucking Origin movie? Andor filmmaker Toby Haynes. So they said Andor was probably the best, most adult Star Wars franchise series. The film is said to be a prequel set decades before the events of J.J. Abrams' 2009. Why? Are we going to see the captain before he gets killed? Do you know about Ambassador Spock? What's an Ambassador Spock? You know, we're not gonna go on the Kelvin ship or what? Studio executives are said to be currently focusing on right-sizing the budgets for Star Trek films as they seemingly acknowledge that the franchise doesn't have the potential for billion-dollar returns like Marvel or Star Wars. The Star Trek origin movie was officially announced on Paramount during their presentation at CinemaCon. Well, I don't know what's going to happen here because Picard's done, Discovery is going to be done, right? And that leaves Strange New Worlds, and I don't know where Strange New Worlds is. Strange New Worlds has had a black eye ever since that musical, right? Remember the musical? And Spock acting stupid. I don't know. They screwed up Strange New Worlds so badly. Haynes is indeed directing, and we also received confirmation that the script was being written by Seth Grahame-Smith, the Lego Batman movie, Abraham Lincoln, Vampire Hunter. Is this going to be what? Is this going to be like lighthearted? What is this? Is it going to have humor? I don't even know. I don't even know what's happening. You know, my feeling was that I always saw Star Trek 2009 as a sequel to Star Trek Enterprise. And the reason was because Star Trek Enterprise was a very emo, a bit moody, very serious prequel. And when you got to the Kelvin timeline, right? Everything before the origin stories of all the original crew members was serious. So Archer, very serious. The Xindi Wars, very serious. The Romulan Wars, very serious. The forming of the Federation, serious, right? Getting on the Kelvin, serious. And then we get to Kirk and Spock and McCoy and Uhura and Chekhov and Scotty and Sulu. And then we realize, oh yeah, we have a bit of humor. And I feel like the humor does not need to exist until we get to Captain Kirk's time. And it's kind of funny because it's that anomaly because they started out with a low budget and they had very poor special effects back then, but they had to make do. I still remember the story that William Shatner told about how this giant blob was going to eat something, and they threw this blob on top of something like a cardboard box. They threw it on top, and then they rolled the ball, and then the box is gone like magic. And they all laughed. It's like, what the heck was that? And that was the slug creature that was used as the mother of those purple spheres. And that one Star Trek episode where the teaser started out with a bunch of tertiary characters, right? It was the miners, and anything could happen to them, right? Because it wasn't the main crew. Every teaser would start with Captain Kirk and Spock, except for that one episode. So I thought that was an amazing thing as far as special effects. You had the creature, you had miniatures and paintings and backdrops, and that was done for Next Generation. But anyway, I mean, that was a hard thing. So because of the low budget, you had more of a sense of humor in Captain Kirk's in the original Star Trek series. Then when we got to the movies and Picard and Deep Space Nine and Voyager, then it was serious. It's kind of weird like that. I think that's why I was kind of sneering at J.J. Abrams' Star Trek, but I was like, I accepted it. I'm just mad at J.J. Abrams' Star Wars. So Haynes is indeed writing. So the film will begin production with a release date of 2025. Fans are speculating that the prequel film will explore how Starfleet and the United Federation became the dominating powers in the universe. However, this has not been verified. But Star Trek Enterprise kind of did most of that. We needed to, you know what we needed to see? Okay, here's how it could work, okay? The fucking Romulan Wars. If we don't see the Romulan Wars in this fucking movie, fuck off. Because we don't need to see anything more. The Romulan Wars has never been, I don't know if it's been published in books, but it has not been seen. They didn't even acknowledge the Romulan Wars in the final episode of Enterprise. I guess it's just because it's a holodeck thing. These are the Voyagers. You have Ellison mention it because he was one of the Mako officers. Paramount also made it clear that Star Trek 4 with Chris Pine, James Kirk, Zachary Quinto Spock, and Zoe Saldana as Uhura is still in development. I have no idea what's going on here. Star Trek Section 31. This one too. I'm like, what the hell's going on? I don't know. A younger version of the Next Generation character. Okay. I have no idea. Maybe it's the one that Spock befriended, the one that Malachi Throne portrayed. Who knows? Fan reaction has been mixed on the news of the project, as it seems that the origin movie will arrive before 4, which is thought to be slated for a 2026 release, which coincides with the 60th anniversary. Oh my god. 10 years later, everybody's like, Mr. Spock, I can't move. then they'll make old people jokes about me, about Chris Pine and Zachary Quinto. We're all old farts. And hey, look at his hand, can't move. I can't reach the controls, Captain. Is that Simon Pegg or is that The Simpsons with the old Scotty? I gotta watch Homeboys in Outer Space. You remember Homeboys in Outer Space? Trekkies have been waiting for almost a decade for Star Trek 4 to be released, and now they're enjoying their onslaught of Star Trek content. They're longing for the alternate Kelvin time. I'm kind of waiting for that too, but I'm also waiting for more Star Trek Prodigy. Another popular theory is that the prequel origin film could be a retelling of the events of First Contact. The Borg, okay. Are you excited for the news of Star Trek feature film in development, or are you more concerned about the status of Star Trek 4? Well, let me say this while I play a certain commercial. We have like 3 conflicting movies, okay? Section 31 follows the Discovery timeline. And then you got the prequel, right? The prequel to Star Trek. And then you got the Kelvin timeline. So it's almost like you got 3 fucking timelines. And it's going to confuse the fuck out of people. So one has to work. So it seems like the one that they just announced, the prequel to Captain Kirk, the pre-Kelvin movie, we'll call it the pre-Kelvin movie, is the one they care about. Not Chris Pine and Zachary Quinto, not Section 31, but the one they just announced. So, yeah, I still like this KFC. Isn't that amazing? No AI necessary. What does Spock say?